Don't think, just do it. Welcome to this week's Magical Musings. Magical Musings is my mini-series of the review of the past month, a review of the latest episodes, and my own magical musings in my mind. And I want to share the idea of don't think, just do it. A few weeks ago, I had an amazing opportunity to head up to Leeds to work with the amazing Confident Club, where we helped coach the Leeds Powerchair Football Club to be amazing Jedi Masters in the Presentation Mastery course. Now, I wanted to share this idea about don't think, just do it. And I was inspired by Steve, where at the end of the day, he did this wonderful little exercise where he put a candle on the table and he said to everybody, I want you to think and use your mind to see if you can use your mind to blow out the candle. And we're all sitting there waiting for this candle to be blown out, thinking there's going to be some magical voodoo or Jedi force power that's going to do this. And then at the end, he walks up to the candle and blows it. He blows it out and he says that there's a difference between doing and thinking about things. And this has really inspired me to think about everything in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we've had David Heiner's episode, and I've really started to think about some of my big goals, and I'm going to share these publicly with you. I may have mentioned this in an earlier episode, but 2 goals I'm going to share with you is 1, that I want to be a TEDx speaker this year. Now, a little bit of information about this. I believe that I want to be a TEDx speaker because I want to prove, not only to my daughter, but that anybody can achieve anything they put their mind to. I consider myself to be a relatively unknown person. I might have some magical powers, but I want to prove that someone like myself, from kind of no really high educational background, could coast in life for 15 years and then finally go do the things that he wants to do and puts his mind to anything, he could achieve anything. And I want to inspire my daughter that as she grows up, she could then put her mind to anything and do whatever she dreams of. But I've really started to think about this idea, well, if I keep thinking about doing it, I'm not going to do it. And I need to start getting out of my own way, a bit like Osman Sharif talked about in one of my earlier episodes. Get out of my own way, stop thinking about it, and actually doing it. And with an earlier episode talking about the rule of 5, what is there that there is 5 things that I could do every single day that's going to move me towards my goal? And I've got a few podcast guests that's going to be coming out soon, Madeline Black, Mel Lazoo, who are also TEDx speakers, who I'm going to be chatting to in part of my adventure. And I'm making that commitment out now to the world that I will be a TEDx speaker this year. The second goal that I'm also thinking about, but also going to do and implement, there's the irony, isn't there? And that is the idea of that I want this podcast to be in the top 10 self-improvement podcasts in the UK. It currently bounces about 200, 225 every single month, which is great, but I want to try and push to believe that we can get this podcast, because I truly think it adds value to others, and I want to get it into the top 10 of the Apple podcast charts in the UK. And I'm now starting to think about, well, if these are my goals, I've obviously tinkered and tailored these around based on what David was saying about instead of setting a smart, realistic goal, I don't want to be mediocre. I want to go huge. That's a huge goal. Even the TEDx goal is huge. And in my mind, I'm now starting to think about, well, actually every single day, whilst I run the business, whilst I run the podcast, what can I actually do instead of thinking about it? So trying to get out of my head, that's my kind of musings at the minute, and thinking about everything that's going on in my life. Obviously, a wonderful, beautiful 9-week daughter who's absolutely amazing. I love you, Alma. But what can I actually now do to start thinking about, you know what? Instead of thinking about it, let's just do some simple steps and actions every single day that's going to get me closer towards that goal. Interestingly enough, part of David's conversation that's inspired me is about the idea of purpose. And now I have a daughter. I believe that the daughter is now going to fuel that drive and that purpose for me, because I really want to prove to her that when she grows up, that she, like her father, if she wants to, she might think I'm an idiot when she grows up, but she could achieve anything she wants. So yeah, there we go. So these are my magical musings this month. I've loved this month's episode. Very inspiring, very powerful episodes. You know my goals now. I've committed to the world, so now I have to bloody do it. TEDx speaker and this podcast in the top 10 for self-improvement podcasts this year. But what I'm going to do every day, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do. I'm going to take 5 simple steps like the rule of 5 in an earlier episode and just start bloody doing things. These are my magical musings, and as always, they are just 5-minute episodes sharing my thoughts, my feelings, and about a recap of the last couple of episodes. I hope you enjoyed this little Magical Musings. And again, thank you to the amazing patrons for supporting this podcast: Anthony Howe, Sherry Brenton, Steve McDermott, Rory Barnes. And if you did love this episode and you want to help me achieve that goal of getting this podcast into the top 10 self-improvement charts in the UK, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a little lovely review and a rating. And if you do leave a review, stick your Instagram handle in there and I'll share that review and tell the world how amazing you are. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I'll join you for another episode every single Wednesday. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you know when the next episode is available. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. Bye-bye.